My name's Graham Cooley. I'm the chairman of Light Science Technologies, and welcome to this Capital Markets Day. Why have a Capital Markets Day? Actually, Capital Markets Days can be very important for shareholders. Important because you get additional depth of information and you get to meet more people than you do by going on Investor Meet or turning up to city roadshows. And I think it's very important that you use the day to meet the people in the company and ask all the questions that you want to ask. This is all about getting rid of misunderstandings about what the company does. So spend your time asking questions, and you can go all the way in a question range from what's an LED to how do they make light. But it's important to get rid of those misconceptions today. So let me tell you about what's happened at Light Science Technologies in the last 3.5 years since the IPO. So the IPO was in 2021. The company raised 5 million with a market cap of 17.5 million. The progress, first of all, there's been only one other funding round. There's been 2 acquisitions, I think very important acquisitions that you can learn more about during the session. And we've now gone through our first period of being cash flow positive. So I think you're seeing the company at a real inflection point. Turnover now 12 million approximately, with a market cap of around 9 to 10 million. Okay, so this company is an absolute compelling investment in my view. What has the company been through? It's been an incredible journey, the early 20s, for any small stock market listed company. We went through a hype cycle in the industry that we're in, went through a pandemic, an associated supply chain crisis, an energy crisis, and we're even looking at a crisis now in small caps with outflows from the London stock market. And the company survived all of this and gone cash flow positive. So it's a very resilient company. And in my view, as it says in the last bullet point, I'm not ashamed to say I think it's a compelling proposition right now. Let me talk to you about a hype cycle. I mentioned the word hype cycle. Everyone loves a good Gartner hype cycle. It's a very well-known term. What it means is that there's a trigger point to do with a market or a technology. Trigger point in the case of Light Science Technologies is food security. The market goes rocketing up. Companies raise billions, and literally in the case of agri-tech it's been billions, and then they can't deliver on the IRRs that the investors want, and the market comes rocketing back down again. And the best companies are built at the point where you're in the dip in the market, so the so-called trough of disillusionment. And at that point, all those companies that have survived and got through the chasm have got real products, they understand the mistakes that other companies have made, and they've got a real business model. Okay? And what you see today is a company that's gone through all of these things and has emerged being cash flow positive and been very careful about the way that it has deployed its capital. Okay, so let me introduce the speakers. You're going to hear first of all from Simon Deacon. You're also going to hear from Jim, and you're also going to hear from Andrew. These are the members of the executive team, and Andrew's going to lead any questioning. So what I'd like to ask you is that when colleagues are giving their presentation, if you could wait to ask questions at the end, which will be curated by Andrew. We're also going to hear from the divisional heads, 3 of them, Craig and Mark and Sean. And it's really important. These will be new colleagues to you. You probably won't have met them before. And it's really important that you ask them the searching questions that you want to understand. We've also got an important guest speaker, Richard, who's head of R&D at Dyson Farming, who's going to give you an external, objective impression of where the market is today. He's going to talk to you about food security, he's going to talk about land use, and he's going to talk about decarbonising agriculture. Okay, so here's the running order. In a moment, I'm going to introduce Simon. He's the CEO of the company. Then Richard's going to speak, and then Craig is going to talk us through the headline division in the company, which is the agriculture division, Agritech as we named it. And you will have seen that in the announcement this morning. We're then going to have a break. You can load up on caffeine and look around the exhibits outside. And then we're going to have Mark Ellis, who's going to talk to you about the contract electronics manufacturing division, which is kind of the underlying division generating the revenues that are being used to develop two very exciting divisions, one Agritech and the other passive fire protection. You'll then hear from Sean about passive fire, and then Jim bringing together the finances of the three divisions, and then finally Simon giving us all a summary and outlook. And you can stay afterwards, we'll have some lunch, and you can ask us all more questions. So let me introduce Simon Deacon. Simon's a genuine entrepreneur. He is the founder of Light Science Technologies. He's the CEO, and he was also led the company's IPO 3.5 years ago. So Simon.